Are you an empath trying to find your soulmate? So, what if you're an empath that's sensitive to the emotions of the people in the world around you and you're trying to find your soulmate? Not just any soulmate, but a spiritual soulmate. That deep, loving, guided, connected relationship that serves a higher purpose with that special one person who understands and respects you, that caring somebody who validates your gifts and uplifts your spirit. Yes, these spiritual soulmate relationships, though seemingly elusive, they do really exist, and there's someone special for everybody. It's just that not everyone aspires to this loving, amazing relationship. Amazingly enough, most people seem to settle for happy enough. And that's a big reason why, according to the APA, nearly 50% of marriages in the USA end up in divorce. And that's only for a first marriage. The stats for a second or subsequent marriage are much higher. Hi, I'm Gail Marie from 6 Dimensions of Healing. I've been a spiritual counsellor for over 22 years, helping people create loving, lasting relationships. Remember to like this video, click subscribe below, and share this with somebody who wants to understand about their soulmate, especially if they're an empath. As an empath, your gifts serve the world, so being hypersensitive and settling for second best or good enough just doesn't work for long. It won't make you happy. You need to become the very best version of you that you can be, and then attract a soulmate to match who you are. Sound simple? It's simple, it's just not easy. Many women think they've found their soulmate at one time, and then they feel sad because they think they weren't ready and they feel they've let them slip through their fingers. And it may seem that way if you've loved somebody you really cared about, or if you're now alone, the past can play tricks on you because you don't remember all those little things you hated that made you break up in the first place. You're only thinking of the good things. But all it really means when you have somebody in your life for a little while and they leave is that they were there to help you move forward, and now they've done that, they're gone. They were indeed a soulmate, but not your spiritual soulmate. And they've moved aside to make way for something better for you. It's very difficult to connect to somebody in a spiritual soulmate relationship when they haven't yet connected to themselves. And we find this with a lot of women. They're the ones who are interested in developing that inner connection with their higher selves, while their partner doesn't feel quite the same way. But these partners you are with right now, or have been with, are your soulmates. They're just not necessarily your spiritual soulmate. They do have something to offer. The difference being between a soulmate and a spiritual soulmate is that with a soulmate, you've come together for a purpose, to grow, to become more, to expand as a soul, but not necessarily to change the world. In fact, it's often a difficult relationship. When you look at all your partners from this perspective, you can see that not all your relationships were supposed to last. This means they have a purpose, they fulfill that commitment, and then they move on. You both move on. Well, that's in theory anyway. That's so long as you don't get stuck on the he said, she said, he did, she did part. Then life flows according to the bigger picture, your bigger picture. Soulmate relationships dissolving and finishing are perfect. It's all in divine order. Nobody is ever supposed to hold you back in this lifetime, and their moving on is really a noble gesture, whether it gave you pain or not. I'm here as the devil's advocate, not to justify abuse, but to give you a different vantage point, a more divine or higher perspective for all of your relationships. You see, there's always a bigger picture, but you can't always see it, and it will help you move on. From where you're standing in the depths of despair amongst all the trees, all you can see is the forest. And that's okay, because that's where your inner connection proves to be invaluable. As an empath, you know the absolute importance of meditation and creating that inner soul connection with your higher self. And you may think that nothing will ever deter you from this purpose. But what if a soulmate came along that tried to do just that without you even realizing what was happening? Not on purpose, but inadvertently. As this happens to many women, they develop a deep inner connection and a sense of purpose, but just when they think they're stable in their beliefs, along comes a spider and sits down beside her. No, that's another story. Along comes a challenge in the form of a partner who shows them all the love they think they've been missing. Everything is fine for a while, except, and this is big, they haven't realized that they've traded an inner connection for an outer one. You can have both. The one that feels good with the person they love is the outer one, and that's okay, until that person leaves or no longer reciprocates. That's when you're left deflated and unloved, absolutely devastated. Their contract to you was to show you the stability or instability of your inner connection with your higher self. You can call it a test, but I think of it more as an opportunity. You can have an outer and an inner connection. This is an opportunity to grow. This is what all soulmates do. You help each other grow in areas you didn't know needed prodding and pushing to calibrate the old patterns that have dominated your life. But as an empath, you know your connection is within. And until this connection is stable and steady, a spiritual soulmate relationship can't come into your life. Your purpose wasn't to trade your divine connection within for the love of another. It was to develop a strong sense of knowledge and wisdom inwardly and project that outwardly. That inner connection, the love of your outpouring of source within, will always win out. And it's the only time you'll ever have control over your gift, because not being in control means you hand over the control of your gift to others. This gives a scenario that you both resent. You resent that someone has power over you, and they eventually resent the heavy burden of responsibility. In other words, you become too much for them. Being an empath is a gift. It's a window into the soul of the world, but it comes with a huge responsibility. This is the gift you've chosen to come into this world to bring powerful change, and the only way you can do this is by standing in your own power and vibrating love. This power comes through an inner connection. When this happens, you will attract somebody, only if you want to, who will enhance your gift with their own, and the two of you will become a beacon of hope and love for the world. I know this seems huge from where you're standing right now, and you may not think you're worthy of such a relationship when you look at your past and what's happened. But what if everything that's come before you has brought you to where you are now? What if it was all a part of the plan, your divine plan? So don't pine over the relationships of the past. Don't judge and resent them. Instead, look for the nuggets of gold in each relationship that has transpired, and think of the person who delivered that nugget with thanks, and let them go. They did you a favour. They either let you go or you let them go. As an empath, you now have the opportunity to regather your tools and develop your strength to stand in your own power and put your own stamp on the world. It needs your gifts. And when somebody comes along to test that strength and see if your power really is strong enough to emanate love from within, take it for what it is. an opportunity to love and to grow. You know you are never alone because an empath is always connected to Source. It only depends on how open your channels are as to the clarity you receive. So love your life and look within, as when you are centered and balanced, you no longer tap into the problems of the world, but to the joys of the universe. It's a great place to stand, and it's how to attract a soulmate, a truly wonderful spiritual soulmate. If you need help with finding your empath gifts and understanding your soulmate relationships, get your spiritual counseling package. Just click below. Thanks for joining me.